If one looks back at my diary over the course of the last 3 months, I've been wherever there's been a crisis in South Africa. I visited 2 weeks ago the floods in Durban and visited and distributed food aid and water in Tongaat and Ananda. And visited the sites where the most damage was done. The week before that, I was down the south coast dealing with the water crisis in Ugu. Just last week, I was in the Eastern Cape dealing with the crisis of poverty in rural areas and visiting towns like Butterworth that are falling apart. So people tend to think that politics is one-dimensional. It's not. You can be very concerned about domestic issues, but at the same time can be very concerned about international issues, particularly when those international issues have an impact directly on the very issues that you're driving in the domestic agenda, things like the cost of living, things like food security, things like making sure poor people have access to basic foodstuffs. So I think people must refrain from thinking about these things in a one-dimensional manner. It's not doing either or, it's doing and. You can focus on international events and domestic events and various other events. It doesn't mean because you're spending a few days dealing with one issue, it means that you've forgotten about all the others. In the interconnected world that we live in today, what happens on the other side of the world has an impact in our own backyard. Yeah. And we're seeing that already starting to take shape. And my fear is we're heading into a winter of discontent in South Africa that's driven by high unemployment and driven by poverty and driven by hunger. And we need to understand how we can prevent that.